It's time to talk fantasy football. It's time to let them know. Where you let us crunch the numbers while you crush the competition. So grab your playbooks and crack a cold one, because here's your hosts, Teak and Baney.
Welcome back to the final episode of the week, the sits for week 11. Boys, I know last episode we were talking about doing a competition. We're going to do it with the sits as well. So how are we feeling going into week 11? You guys feeling confident?
Confident in the sits? Absolutely.
These boys are riding the pine.
All right, let's get right on into it. Baney, why don't you start us off with the QBs?
So, I am sitting Baker Mayfield this week. 49ers defense after this bye looked lethal. 5 sacks, 4 turnovers, 4 pass deflections, 7 QB hits. Yeah, dude, they just dismantled Jacksonville. And I just think it's going to be a tough week for the boys up or down there in Tampa. And Baker also has a thumb injury on his throwing hand. So if he plays, that's not necessarily somebody I want starting in my fantasy lineup. So, yeah, that's my sit. I think it makes too much sense. They got more firepower in Chase Young. They just got a cycle of dudes that are just going to be flying around on the defensive line. I don't want any part of Baker this week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that at all. That's a tough matchup against those hot Niners, getting back on track, especially after last week. I mean, your only hope is these corners can't lock down Evans and Godwin and they make some big plays. But, yeah, I'm not trusting in that this week against this Niner defense. I'm sitting them as well.
I like to sit as well because it's also my sit. Like you said, he's dealing with that thumb injury. 49ers have allowed the 7th fewest fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. That's huge. I'll be very impressed by Baker if he lights up that defense, especially then coming off the bye against Jacksonville there and showing that they didn't lose a step. We're gonna get right after that 3-game losing streak and get back on track. But Badge?
So my sit, I'm going to the AFC North. And before I tell you that sit is, I'm going to tell you 3 things about the AFC North.
I already know who this is now that you're talking about it.
So, 1, in the North, it's usually an offensive struggle. 2, it's always a defensive hard-hitting battle.
Okay, here
3,
more injuries than
3, there's usually more injuries than touchdowns. I'm not sold on him. I'm sitting Deshaun Watson against my Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm not being biased about it. I mean, the Steelers' defense has legit carried this team the majority of these 6 wins. I expect a low-scoring grind this week. I'm smashing the under. Anything under 44 points, I'm taking the under. Therefore, I'm sitting Watson this week. It's going to be a smash-mouth game. Usually is.
I really thought he was going to say Joe Burrow because Joe Burrow struggles against Baltimore. But wow. Yeah. I mean, Deshaun Watson, he had a great week last week. I think it's a fluke. He had probably one of the worst halves of football I've seen in the first half. Turned on the second. Not going to be able to do that against TJ Watt. Secondary sus in Pittsburgh. But, I mean, you have to be able to get the ball to those guys in order for that to matter. I don't know if I've ever seen a defensive lineman skew a game so much. I think he missed a game last year, and I think he changed the spread like 1.5 or 2 points. So, Watson.
I've seen a guy do that, and he's on the other team. His name is Myles Garrett. So therefore, I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm rooting for Deshaun Watson this week because this is Badge's favorite game every year is Browns Steelers, and I just can't wait to watch it with him. I root for the Georgia Dogs for football for college. they bark. I just want to bark. So who let them dogs out going into week 11?
Who said Teek's invited? Just kidding, Teek. Door's always open.
I've experienced one Browns-Steelers game with Mike, and yeah, there's a reason we do this podcast remotely.
But moving on to the running backs here, Benny.
Yeah, I'm sitting Chuba Hubbard. This is a running back that came into the year, lost his job with Miles Sanders, got his job back, was productive a little bit. However, not worth the hype. If you spend fab getting him off the waiver wire, ask for a refund. Dallas's defense, I'm calling my shot. Dallas's defense will score 20 fantasy points this week. I think they're going to just disrupt everything, turnovers, run game's not going to be able to get started. And also, since Hubbard had his couple good weeks, he has 4 games this year with less than 3 yards per carry. He's averaging 12 yards receiving throughout the entire season. I just don't find any value in Chuba Hubbard at all this week. And yeah, I don't find anybody on this team valuable this week, to be honest with you. I think Dallas is going to be they're going to be another week where they're going to be on our top scorers list, and we're going to have to do this all over again. So,
yeah, I don't think the Panthers are going to surprise us. Hubbard only double digits 3 times this year. I think they're going to be behind and dump that run game. So, yeah, I mean, you got to sit him.
Unless he gets peppered, that's the only way he's going to get points. He got peppered against Indy a little bit, but I haven't seen it since. But yeah, I like the sit as well. I hope Chuba can turn into something because I didn't spend a lot, but I spent a little bit. I sprinkled some on Chuba in a deeper league. So I like to start.
sit.
Badge or sit.
So-
Yeah.
So I'm sitting. Beanie's going to get all hyped up. I want him to go on a rant. I'm starting Isaiah Pacheco against the Eagles.
Sitting.
So, sitting. You got me all messed up. I'm sitting Isaiah Pacheco. Sitting against the Eagles. I feel like this is becoming a trend. Sitting running backs against this Eagles defense, this front 7 makes it hard to run the ball. I mean, they're allowing single-digit fantasy points to running backs all year. Unless Coach Andy Reid has a crazy game plan, I believe this is going to be a passing game all around. So I expect that KC run game to go out the window. And again, this front 7 makes it very tough to run the ball against. So I'm starting Pacheco this week against the Eagles. I'm going to let Bainey take it.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick my feet up for this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I still have like nightmares of him in Super Bowl, I swear. I don't know. I don't know. I don't love the injuries in Philly's defense. I've talked about that well enough. Jacoby Dean, Liz Frank now. So, yeah. But I don't know, man. Like I said, Devontae Smith was my start at wide receiver because I thought that he's going to get a ton of touches, ton of throwing potential in both this offenses this week. So, yeah. Eagles defense, run stopping is their best asset. So, I think it's a good sit. Yeah, I don't know, man. I have no idea how this game's going to go. I really don't. I'm going to have a heart rate of 1,000, be caffeinated. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Single digits all year, though, so far. It's pretty impressive for fantasy running backs.
I like to sit, but later on, I kind of like Pacheco as a sneaky running back to pick up if your trade deadline ain't gone yet for the playoffs, dude. I really do. I mean, he has
easy second half of the schedule.
Buffalo, New England, Vegas, Cincy, and the Chargers, dude. So I like him as that, but yeah, for this week, I like him as a sit.
Yeah.
So I'll agree with you on this one. Moving on here. My sit is the Georgia boy, but he ain't barking this week. He's sitting in the doghouse. I got James Cook, beloved fantasy value in drafts people thought this year. I don't necessarily like the matchup. Division rival, the Jets, just fired the OC. You don't know what you're going to get out of this offense completely, and that kind of scares me. Who do you know who's calling plays there in Buffalo now?
I forget who it was. I read it too. It's something Kelly. He got kind of bumped over as an interim spot. I don't know, dude.
I don't know. Don't know what's going on there. And to top it all off, that Jets defense could be a top 3 defense if they're not on the field 24/7. So that's why I'm good on James Cook this week.
Yeah, dude. You know what I would love for him to hold onto the ball, because I have him in my league. Like I said, 0 RB build is the way to go, and I landed on James Cook. It was looking really good at the beginning of the year, kind of dipped. My thing is somebody on this team, possibly the head coach, doesn't like this guy. There's games he finished with 5 carries, -4 yards once. Like, you don't know what you're getting at James Cook on a week-to-week basis. So if you're going up against top 5 defense, odds are probably should sway away from him. I unfortunately don't have the assets to bench him. So I am rocking with James Cook this week, and it's reluctantly. It is very reluctantly. And, like you said, we don't know who's calling the plays. We don't know if there's going to be an uptick. We don't know if he's a fumble away from not seeing the field. So I don't know.
Badge?
You
with us, Badge?
Yeah, did my camera go out?
No, you're here with us, Badge.
I'm worried if you went out.
I thought my camera went out. Sorry, guys. Yeah, no, James Cook, tough man. The screen went black. I was like, what the heck? James Cook against the Jets defense. I've been praising this Jets defense all year. I mean, Buffalo has some stuff to figure out, and I don't think they're going to do it this week. So I'm even might be picking the Jets money line, So I think it could be a low-scoring game. I mean, I know it's at home again. It could go the other way too, but this Jets defense, I still feel is elite. I think if they're going to do it, they're going to try and throw the ball. So this Jets defense is fast, swarm the ball. So James Cook, good sit. I'm not starting him.
Moving on to the wide receivers.
Oh, boys. Got to sit Christian Watson. You got to. And everything about this matchup is going to tell you to play him. But everything about his season this year is telling you not to play him. In playable weeks, he's busted 4 or 6 weeks. If you kept him on your roster every single week this season, including injuries and buys, he is busted on 8 of 10 weeks that he's been on your roster. Yeah, dude, I don't know. 11 catches on 33 targets on the year. It's just been an absolute failure of a 2023 between him and Jordan Love. Players I'd rather start this week over him: Noah Brown, Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed playing on the same team as him. Very low roster percentage on ESPN leagues. He's seen an uptick in targets. He's seeing usage in the red zone. Noah Brown has, I think, like 439 total yards in 5 active games this year. He's like a decent game away from setting a career high mark for himself. These are just players that bring so much more valuable than Christian Watson. And like I said, Chargers defense is horrendous. He should smash this week, but he's not going to. And if you start him, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, if he's going to do it, the matchup, I think, is in his favor, but he's been very disappointing. So the trust to me is not there. You got a better option, I would say start him. It could be cold, it could be frosty. The weather might not be there in their favor. But again, that matchup is favorable. So if you got a better option, maybe go a different route. So it's real tough to say on Christian Watson with this matchup, of course. So yeah, I guess it depends who you have. I'll probably stay away from him still in FanDuel lineups, DraftKings lineups. So that's my opinion on it. Take.
Hey, play of the century in my league this week. Somebody dropped Watson for Tyler Boyd. Talk about a move this week, dude. That salvages a week right there, boys.
Yeah. Though Watson did turn it on at the second half of last year, didn't he?
Yeah, with Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball, though.
Yeah,
it's a completely different ball game. It's Jordan Love is not.
So there's two for me. I like to sit as well because he was a fade of mine coming in the season, and I'm very proud of that fade. Along with another that everybody was hot on was Sky Moore. They're kind of the same receiver to me. I don't like either or, and I agree. Jordan Love hasn't been that deep diver that Badge thought he was. Hoping to get it.
That's all that matters, baby.
And yeah, I like to sit.
Hey guys, real quick, piggybacking off the Jets Bills talk that we were just talking about. The Jets right now are plus 240 money line. Do you flirt with that?
I do.
Or I mean, they're getting 7 points too.
I mean,
plus 7.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, man. I don't know. The over/under is at 40, deadlock 40. I think that. Do you think it goes down? Could we see 38.5 before kickoff?
I mean, to me, it's a coin flip, but those odds, I mean, it might be worth a little bit.
Dude, plus 240 against a team that doesn't have an offensive coordinator right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that can also be a weapon. You don't know his play calling style. You don't know.
Sometimes change is good. I mean, that's why the next man up there, young quarterbacks usually work out.
So, but moving on here, Badge.
So, I think I might get a little bit of pushback, blowback here. After the big week last week, I feel a lot of fantasy owners are going to be rushing to get him in his lineup. I'm sitting Brandon Cooks. Here's why. I think it's going to be a Pollard day or a running day. Dak, I mean, he's been hot 3 games. You know, Dak comes in waves. I just have that feeling he's not going to get Cooks the ball. I'm not underestimating this fantasy matchup too. I mean, the past games have been hot. Again, I think it's going to be a run day. I'm sitting Brandon Cooks. So again, I'm expecting a little bit of pushback maybe here. Seeing they're playing the Panthers. So, Baney?
My favorite thing that I've heard described, my favorite way I've heard this Talus team be described is like the old BCS college teams where you had to get like points and rankings in order to like bump up. So you would destroy like small teams so you can get more points towards, the BCS championship. And that's what this Dallas team does. They just beat up on these garbage teams. So like I could see them possibly running the score up, but like you said, man, it just makes too much sense for them just to run this ball. Like just get up early, defense maybe gets you a pick 6. I could see this being a run heavy day, get Pollard right day maybe, but yeah, I hate how much we talk about Dallas Cowboys on this show, but it's a good week to do it, I think. Sit Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, he's a very spotty receiver. They didn't use him how I thought they would use him in the beginning of the season. Maybe this sparks something, but yeah, maybe it's just another roller coaster for him. So we'll see how it goes for Badge. Hey, we're doing a challenge now, so I gotta hope he blows up.
Were the numbers in last week?
So moving on here, I might get some pushback for this one as well. So I got Deontay Johnson as my sit for the week. Second fewest fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Pittsburgh Steelers wide out, caught a touchdown pass, right? Finally, in week 9, since what is it? Big Ben's retirement.
Yep, Big Ben was the last quarterback. Throw him a touchdown.
Week 10, he comes back, catching one pass for 17 yards. Kenny Pickett, I'm sorry to say, is unreliable.
Except in the fourth quarter.
To trust Deontay week by week basis, I don't and wouldn't. This week, Cleveland, man, they're known for their corners, man. It's a tough defense. It's a division matchup. We're going to go through the Badges 3 staples again if you want. Injuries. What was the other 2? So
How do you listen to me?
So for that reason, I'm out.
It never fails. You just fade whoever's playing an NFC or AFC North defense, man. Fade against the Browns, fade against the Ravens. Now we're talking fading against TJ Watt and them boys. So, yeah, dude, I'm not going to go against it. I think that Deontay poses the best receiving option for the Steelers, but not this week. Not against these brownies. So, Mike, give us your best bark. Give us your best bark.
So I don't bark, but
He's a cat guy.
I do got something to say.
True statement.
Yeah, I am a cat guy, Benny. I got 2. But no pushback here. I mean, watching this offense and Deontay Johnson scores his first touchdown in 999 games. That's enough for me. Pickett, he needs to take that next step. This offense is being less than par. You got to sit him. I mean, and you got to get Pickens the ball too. Hopefully that's in their game plan. I think this game could be 14-13 either way. 3-score. Yeah, I don't think any team gets over 20. So, yeah, good sit in my book. I'm not starting them. Hate to say it. Hope you're wrong. Hope I'm wrong too.
Moving on to finish her up.
Tight end spot. Is that where we're going? Is that what we're doing right now?
That's what we do every week,
Sending
week
off
by
home.
week, buddy.
Yeah.
Don't be too thrilled over there.
Yeah, no. It's just the constant brain melting of the AFC North talk. Badge talked about him in a start segment. I'm talking about him in a sit segment. Cole Kmet. I'm done with the Badgett experience. I'm done with the Bears experience. I don't want to do it anymore. Take me out. See? It's causing Teek's light to flicker again. It's making another appearance. Yeah, I'm just over it. This is Badgett's first real start in a rivalry game. He got to play a little bit against Minnesota when Fields dislocated his thumb. He had 2 turnovers in that game. Obviously, he's just thrown to the fire. You can't really go through that. But rivalry games hit different, man. In division games, yeah. I'm sitting Cole Kmet, and it's strictly because of who's throwing him the ball. I want no part of it.
Teek, I just noticed, not to get off topic, that shirt is phenomenal. The Duff beer.
It was my hoodie.
Dude, that is an awesome shirt.
It comes. I don't know if you can't see it. It comes in with a built-in koozie.
Dude, that is awesome. Anyways, Baney, I got to give a little pushback here because he was on my starts list. I mean, the targets, they're going to be playing from behind. So, I mean, he had last 3 games, 10 targets, 8 targets, 7 targets. That's pretty good for a tight end outside that top 4, top 5, even though Kmet is number 5. I think they're going to be playing from behind. I think he's going to get peppered. So,
I'm going to have the black face paint on like Aiden Hutchinson. Hutch is going to do it for Harbaugh this week. It's going to be, oh, dude, I'm telling you, Lions turn it up this week.
So I think this is actually the first head-to-head start-sit.
I like it. I'm raving over here because I like the matchup. I like the start and sit, so I got the rave going. But yeah, I'm Switzerland right now. I'm just gonna sit back and let you two battle this one out. But moving on,
pretties.
Moving on, Badge.
So this might be a little pushback here, maybe. I don't know yet, but I'm sitting Evan Ingram against the Titans. So you got a tough matchup here. This Titans defense has been sneaky good against the pass, especially at tight end position. They're allowing 3 points average to tight ends. The Jags offense is struggling. Coming up, we talked about T-Law. I mean, I know they had a tough matchup against the Niners. I don't think this matchup is going to help them. I don't think they're going to get back on track this week. Titans, I'm going with those points, less than 3 points or less to tight ends. I do not expect this Jags offense to bounce back. Therefore, I'm starting Evan Ingram. I'm sitting Evan Ingram against the Titans.
Yeah, I think that this offense is giving you nothing to believe in all year. Why would it change now? I think Trevor Lawrence, absolute blunder. They can't figure out who's calling plays. Doug Peterson relieves some of that role to I forget what his name is, but it's their OC. And I don't think that was a good choice. I don't think that the offense has done anything worth relevancy. And yeah, I think the cold streak continues for Jacksonville.
Moving on here. Ingram, you know my thoughts on Ingram. I say it every time he's on a sits list. I just can't go against the targets. I can't. It's week after week. This dude's on average getting 7 targets. Yeah, he had a down week. He's still getting – it's just hard to go against that. He's tight end number 8 right now. Tennessee is sneaky. I don't know. It's a flip of a coin. Really is while I'm raving out over here. But moving on, I'm going to go with something I just looked at here while you were talking. I was kind of caught off guard by it. This light's driving me nuts over here. By the way, I'm gonna go a blockbuster one. Do I get bonus points for this one? I'm gonna go Dalton Kincaid. The dude's been hot, right? Last 4 games above 15 points. Goes up against the Jets. I'm just for that reason. I'm playing like the roulette table. This table's been hot on black all night. It's bound to hit red. And it's hitting red this week against the Jets. Do I think the only thing that's going to hurt me if he scores a loose touchdown, I believe, because his projection is so low. It's at 9. But previous week 1 against the Jets, he had 6 fantasy points. So we'll see how it goes. Bold prediction.
I just think that if all else fails, just throw the ball to 14. And I think that that's what this season is about to turn into, because it's going to need Josh Allen hero ball. It's going to require Diggs to just be a monster week in, week out. And I think that that's what's going to be required in order for them to win this week. I know they're massive favorites in this game, and I don't know. The turmoil and all this stuff, I'm a big fan of storylines, and I think it does contribute to wins and losses. And this team is just a dumpster right now. I don't understand it. They have more than enough talent to win week in, week out, and they're just not getting it done. I think that sitting players against the Jets defense is very solid advice. So Kincaid, sit, bonus points for Teague.
Yeah, no, I agree with the matchup completely against this Jets defense. Very tough to play against all around. The only thing that makes me think this game could be a coin flip is the changes, and you got a pissed off Josh Allen and Bill's team. I mean, to me, this game is a coin flip. tough, but yeah, you can't go against that matchup. So could be a solid sit unless he gets that sneaky breakoff touchdown.
You know what's crazy to me? This is how weird the tight end position is in fantasy. So those 4 games where he averaged about 15 points was good enough to put him at number 11 for the tight end position.
Yeah, it's a tough year for the tight ends.
It's a weird year. Teak, I gotta say something. This sits list offers a lot of advice and insight, and you could use it when you're drafted on Underdog Fantasy. And you use that promo code, let them know, get a little deposit bonus, use some advice you heard from the boys, starts, sits, maybe you heard a name or, you heard some advice here that win you some money. So go over to Underdog, download the app, use the link that we have, and let them know.
Use that promo code. So I know I'm going to put in some lineups here. I don't know if you guys, I'm in a couple best balls too. So
I love, what my favorite, it's kind of an ad, but I love their player news and their little updates that they have through their app. I don't know if you guys have seen it or if you have that notification on. I strongly suggest that you do, dude. Whether it's NBA or NFL, dude, I really love their player news. It's a nice little touch to their app. I'm not getting that from some of the other places, but I like it.
All right. That does wrap up our sits episode. Again, hit that subscribe button down below. It's that big red box there. It is totally free. It does not cost you a single dime, penny, nothing besides the simple movement of the mouse. So click that button. Right next to it, there's a little bell. Click that so you can be updated for our new episodes and shorts that we put out through the week. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Let 'Em Know Fantasy Football Podcast. Join our community and follow us on all socials or keep up with the episodes on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts.